Hi guys, it's Athene and this is Reese, and this video we're going to be talking about responsibility. The reason why is because I've seen a lot of people commenting, and some people get very agitated by the way sometimes we're very confrontational on the live stream and sometimes in our videos. It's a very important topic because it allows you to reflect and think about, like where you stand and your actions and in a sense your responsibilities. When you think about responsibility, it's a pretty concrete word, although it's very hard to define when are you responsible and when are you not responsible. And the thing is, I think that responsibility, when you boil it down to awareness. Like, how aware are you? You could argue and say, like, is a kid responsible for the actions of his parents? Like, as a kid, like you would go like, no, like a kid is not responsible for his environment. He's not responsible for his situation. And as he grows, he actually gathers more responsibilities. And if you look at it, you could almost extrapolate it. The more aware you are, the more ability you have to understand, and the more knowledge you have, the more you're actually responsible for your actions as you actually gather the knowledge and the awareness to take action. You could go even more specified and argue and say like, oh, this kid, he's molded by his environment. So in which extent are you actually responsible for becoming who you are when you've been molded by your environment? And you can have an entire debate around that and question whether people can be responsible in a core, because you're always like the byproduct of your environment and you grow. But for the sake of practicality, we're going to assume that we have the ability, at least we have the ability when we acquire the knowledge and the awareness, to actually make choices ourselves and actually course correct ourselves. Because you could even argue in that regard, you could really go in a deterministic route and say this and that. But let's keep that for another video. Let's say you grow up and you acquire the ability to think for yourself, compare things and see with your own experiences and your own knowledge. When are you responsible? I really do think that when people get the knowledge and the awareness of taking action, you could say they're responsible for their actions in that regard. I'm a pretty low, like how do you say it? Like, I'm not the kind of guy that goes and calls people out of their responsibility, because I really feel like the awareness of people is very like
which maybe some people were like expecting this video to be about. Like, today we're going to talk about responsibility, kids.
It's actually the other way around. Like, when I look at the world and I see everything going bad, I literally give a very low level of responsibility to people, because I really feel like most people just don't have the awareness and don't have the knowledge to understand and to act. We actually live in a very like unaware world. That's why I'm almost inclined to look at the world and go like, yeah, it's just what it is, and there's not a lot of insightful and awareness like going through it, because we're a society that is very much like built on having a very strong workflow with making money, spending money. Everybody around you is almost like in that same mindset, and it's very hard to find those hubs where when you go to it, you almost get plugged in and you get that awareness and that knowledge to actually like become responsible. And here is a bit the like the confrontation though. There's a lot of smart kids and young adults and adults, maybe even older people watching those videos, and the smarter you are, the more you're actually like a culprit. Is that what you say? A culprit?
It depends. What do you mean?
A culprit when you do jack shit.
Right. Yeah, that's correct.
When you're actually being schooled, giving the information and the knowledge, and as being an intelligent person, you are actually also in the same spot to have the awareness to do something about it. It's a cutting sword.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword. Like, as long as you're ignorant about things, you're not responsible for what's going on. But once you start getting knowledge and you have the intelligence to actually gather and assimilate and actually balance it, it takes away your innocence, to say it like that. For example, when there is a kid outside and he's dying, when you don't know it, it's one thing. I mean, like, then nobody's gonna come at you and say like, hey, but if you know it's dying outside and you have the awareness, yeah, then you're gonna go outside and you're gonna help it. If you don't go outside and help it, then you're basically, in a sense, a douchebag. Well, it goes even further than a douchebag, but like that is what people said in the comments. Like I saw people in the comments say like, yeah, like you're basically telling people they're douchebags when they're not trying to help. And
this was a Twitch chat, like a...
It's not just Twitch chat, it was also the chat in the videos. And the thing is, the reason why I'm talking about it is because it is very important to realize we live in a society where everything has to be almost politically correct, where confrontation, like really hard confrontation in your face, is almost taboo when you actually do it, whether it's about like problems in the world or whether it's about vegetarianism or whatever. It's almost like frowned upon to be very confrontational about those things. What's always been like taken up is like, yeah, we're free to do what we want. We live in a society where it's my choice, it's my freedom. We have so much like adopted those concepts that when shit really goes down and you're being confronted by it, like it's almost like you can almost like use that as an argument to discard and even discredit the person that brings it up and turn that guy into a douchebag or an asshole, while it's the other way around. It's a non-constructive belief system that we adopted. And that's even a different topic about freedom. Well, we actually made a talk about it in choiceless awareness, like even the aspect of freedom, like you're not free at all. It's only when you make the choices yourself and when you're like, you know, you can get rid of all those conditioning and all those dogmas you've grown up with. It's only then that you can see things for what they are and actually be more free. But either way, that's for another topic. When we talk about those things and we're very like, we talk about it on the stream and we talk about problems in the world, if we say what you can do about it, and if we like tell people, like we bring people the awareness, like what can be done and the changes you can make and everything, it is really crazy what I'm saying here, but there is very little of a choice to say it like that. And that's why when I talked about the choiceless awareness, the reason why we go through life choiceless and the reason why we keep it very like, you know, contaminated, or is it contained, and we don't really come out, because it sounds very freaky when we say like, actually if other people have the same, you know, knowledge and awareness, they would also have a choiceless awareness. But the thing is, like, it goes even further. Like you could even almost argue and say you don't have a choice. It's almost like a mother taking care of her own kids. If she goes outside and goes like, hey, I'm free, I have a choice, I don't have to take care of my kids, like people will say like, no, that's not true, like you're crazy, you gotta take care of your kids. And then you can say like, yeah, but those kids around the world, they're not my kids, or the people around me, like they're not my kids. The difference between that and like your own family, it's just an awareness difference, like nothing more. It's just like having an awareness and a connectivity with more global awareness and awareness that we're all together in this. You can even extrapolate it and say like, what about your actions? What if your actions really goes at the cost of other countries? What if our lifestyle goes at the cost of the other countries? Like, is it then our responsibility to make sure that we are more aware about how we spend? Because we're literally like actually taking advantage of other people, like in a literal sense. I mean, if we go to their countries and we go on war, or we take their resources or whatever, like, are we responsible about that? Also, if we support companies, if we buy stuff of companies that go and exploit other people, are we responsible for that? As long as you don't know about it and you're not aware about it, then you can get away with it. Then it's no biggie. But once you have the knowledge about what can be done and what you can do to actually like
change your lifestyle too.
Yeah, change your lifestyle, and the collateral damage that you're causing, that your lifestyle is causing, it's a very, what is it, hypocritical thing to say like, hey, you can't say that I'm a douchebag, I'm free to do what I want.
Well, you have people who try to go in between and then say like, yeah, but that's not my fault. This is the whole society, this is the system. I didn't make society like that. I'm just a guy, I have no bad intentions, I have no ill intentions. But then the problem is that this is indeed the system. It's not like specifically someone else's fault. It is collectively the system's fault and everyone within it. So you can't really point to someone else. You can only do your part, or maybe if you're not aware of it, not do your part, or if you're aware of it and still not doing it, sort of like try to be an intellectual scumbag and talk your way out of it and say like, it's still not my fault, so I don't really have to carry any of the blame.
When you look at it from a practical sense, it is a little bit your fault. Like when
Exactly.
you like, it's a little bit, and you can a little bit fix it. And if you're really very activist minded, you can even make a big difference. There is a lot of things that go wrong in the world. There's a lot of things that people have done to other people that is really bad. When you look at history, slavery, like all the things, all the genocide and all that stuff that our grand ancestors have done, and the way we have exploited other people and stuff, like one of the reasons why Europe and like why the West is so, you know, rich is a lot of because colonialism. We really went and enslaved other entire cultures and people, and we're actually like still in that position where we benefit from it, even though some people might argue about that. But the thing is, like, you can ask, like, yeah, are we responsible for their situation now because we exploited them in the past? Like, how far do you draw back the lines? Even when you see the entire Israel-Palestine situation, it is also something when you go into the history, when you look back, you have like shifts in ground and stuff, and then like who is in fault and stuff. And I don't want to go into all that stuff. When you boil it down, it's what can you do right now? What can you do?
Exactly, because it's easy to get lost in the whole intellectual debate of it all. I mean, I can see the comments right now, like, oh, they're trying to summon this white guilt thing and don't fall for the guilt trip or whatever. Like, in the end, if you make it really boil it down, what can you do? There's a lot you can do. Why not do it?
When you have the awareness and the knowledge, you can't get away of it. It's that simple. When you have the awareness and the knowledge, you can't say like, hey, you can't intellectually talk yourself out of it. It's almost like having a baby, you know? It happened. Like it's really crazy what I'm saying right now, but like, unless you really
A little bit psycho.
well, not psycho or just very dumb. Like, that's also possible.
Oh, okay, yeah, no,
Like-
sure.
like you have
like
people
without disrespect.
Yeah,
it's
without
possible.
disrespect,
It's possible
there's some
that-
people that just don't have the ability to even cope with information, or very young. Like, maybe you're really like a young kid and really like you do not understand what we're talking about.
What
You
you're saying
don't
is
have
like
the
it's possible to still have, it's still possible to have the information, and in certain scenarios still not, you know, hard to label a person as being responsible.
But then you don't have the awareness. I would say
Right,
you just don't have the
exactly.
awareness. That is really one of the two. So like, if you're intelligent, you have the awareness, you can't talk yourself out of it. You're part of the system. Your actions are part of what you are. Grabbing those really like those empty shelves of I have a choice, I'm free, that is just bullshit. It is really psycho to say that. You can really compare it to someone like is causing damage and trampling his responsibilities, and then when you confront him, he goes like, yeah, I'm free, I have a choice to do what no, like, in a sense, you cannot be free without responsibility. Those two go hand in hand, because if you're free without being responsible, it goes at the cost of freedoms of other people. So you have to be consistent in your actions in order to, you know, move forward. And we live in we live a lifestyle that does not go at the price. We live a lifestyle that really goes at the cost of a lot of things. And the crazy thing, and that is also something we talked about on the live stream, is we're not even in a situation where you have to make crazy sacrifices to make a huge difference. I mean, we still live in that comfy world. The only thing the world needs is so little to change it completely. We don't even need that crazy stuff. We just need a little insight, a little light, each one of us, to be a different person. Because it's not even about the actions and going heroes and things. It's just like changing lifestyle, like, well, changing lifestyle, it's just being more in line with who you are, with what you are, and be more consistent in who you are, and just do what you believe is right, and get rid of all that bullshit of I have a choice and I'm free and I can do whatever, like in the consumerism bullshit. And like there is a lot of conditioned beliefs we go about that really block us in just being better people. It doesn't require that much to just be a better person, because that's also what you want. It's what we all want, and it's also what makes us happy. So yeah.
Would you maybe say that people who would respond to this kind of stuff with like, I'm free, I have a choice, like this is my personal choice, like I'm not responsible, would you say those people often are not even, like, indeed may lack that level of awareness because of how chained they are to the concepts and glorification of freedom and individualism in our society?
But the thing is, like, we live in a society where almost everybody are hypocrites in a sense. So like, of course, like when you go against it, It's very easy to be demonized. Like, it's like, yeah, who do you think you are? I mean, like, we're doing some stuff that is really wrong as a species. It shouldn't be taboo to confront you. Like, I know it's politically incorrect, and I would never win an election saying this shit, but it is important that we are aware of it and realize it, certainly for the more intelligent part of society that has the ability to bring a lot of change, because we live in a society where it goes so deep that even the intellectual elite, to say it like that, are just justifying their lazy assness with some intellectual bullshit, while they have the biggest potential to make a big difference in the world. Because I understand that a lot of the rest that trickles down, it almost like it has to trickle down, like when you're all around you, like, and you're not that momentum in your own circle of like friends and stuff, then you're very easily back pulled into, you know, your daily stuff. But if you have that intellectual, if you're one of those intellectual people that really has that gravitas within your environment, you can make a big fucking difference. And it's easy to go around and have those intellectual and talk around and basically like just like justify your lifestyle and feel good and validated by your intellectual superiorism. But it's another thing to be able to use the way you act and the way you live your life to really inspire the people around you to be better people. And if more intellectuals would do that, like, and I know they're there, I know they're out there, like there's tons of you guys watching this video right now. So I really hope that it just makes you break with certain very broken concepts, and the dissonance you experience, use it to change your beliefs rather than to demonize us, saying like we're douchebags to say those things. Because in a sense, when you have all this knowledge and stuff and you know what you can do and stuff, like, you are really a big douchebag for just not doing anything and using your intellectual mental capacities to really demonize us. It's almost like when you see in the movies the bad guy like using his, you know, technology to destroy stuff. It's just not, it's
in the end, we're pointing out all the stuff you can do, the fact there's such a range of things you can do or things that you could change in your lifestyle to make a very big difference. If therefore you point us out as being douchebags, there already is clearly something wrong in your logic.
We just see things for what they are. We try to see things for what they are. We try to move forward little step by little step, and we're making those videos because people really like them. And sometimes, yeah, when we start talking about it in depth, it's not always pleasant, but I hope people have something about it. Like, I hope people, you know,
I look forward to seeing the comments on this one.